Just a couple seasons ago, Ronald Araujo felt untouchable, Barcelona's captain, Xavi's rock at the back, and the guy you build your defense around. But fast forward to this season and he's now on the bench, outplayed by teenager Pau Cubarsí and the veteran Inigo Martinez. Rumors of his transfer are still swirling, from one of the best center-backs in the world to fighting just to stay relevant. And he is not the only one. This 24-25 season has been rough for some big names. Players we thought were about to hit their peak have totally lost the momentum, and others who used to be world-class just don't look the same anymore. Now that season's about to end, it's clear that some players straight up flopped, and others, while their numbers might look okay, compared to what we expected, they have been a letdown. So let's get into it. These are top 8 most disappointing players in season 24-25. Kicking things off with Alejandro Garnacho. If you watched United last season, you could not miss him. Garnacho was electric, scoring in FA Cup final, pulling off an insane bicycle kick against Everton, and finishing the year as the Premier League's only teenager with double-digit goal contributions. He looked like next big star at Old Trafford, but this season has been a massive step backwards. Here is the reality. Across all competitions in season 24-25, Garnacho has scored 10 goals and assisted 9 times. Not awful, you would say, until you realize that just 5 goals came from 33 Premier League appearances. That's 89 shots with just 5.6% conversion rate. And on top of that, he's also missed 13 big chances, and that wastefulness has been hard to ignore. And it's not just stats, the eye test backs it up as well. His body language is frustrated, he loses possession constantly. In the Premier League, he attempted about 2-3 dribbles per game, with just 33% success rate. That's clearly not what Manchester United fans expected from him at the start of the season. Then came the off-pitch drama. Garnacho was dropped for Manchester derby in December after a reported training ground clash with new manager Ruben Amorim. Since then, it's clear that he's fallen down the pecking order. Tactically, he's also suffering. Amorim's 3-4-3 does not favor traditional wingers. Garnacho's been shifted into narrower roles with less space and freedom, the exact opposite of what suits him. Even Bruno Hernandez mentions that Garnacho did not celebrate the rocket goal against Leicester simply because he felt like fans had turned on him. Pundits have criticized him as well. Paul Scholes did not hold back, saying that Garnacho is scruffy in his technique and makes poor decisions. But let's not overreact. Garnacho is still 20 years old. He's already made over 130 appearances for United, which is insane in his age. This season has clearly shaken his confidence, and the weight of expectations has not helped. There's no doubt that talent is there, but this year has been a reality check, a reminder that raw ability is not enough on its own. If he learns from this season, the Garnacho hype can absolutely come back stronger than ever in the upcoming years. Number 7 is Andrew Robertson. From one of Liverpool's most trusted warriors to a man battling to stay in the starting 11. Robertson's 24-25 campaign has been one of the biggest drop-offs of any Premier League fullbacks. And it started badly. He missed most of preseason under new boss Arne Slot due to an ankle injury. Combine that with him turning 30 years old and the decline began. These last couple of games I have been on the bench. I have had doubters for the first time in a long time. First time at this club. That's his words to the media after being subbed off at the halftime versus Arsenal. The pressure did not stop there. In January, Slot took him off mid-game again. Headlines were in shock. Liverpool's legend fighting for his place. A brutal reminder that football moves fast, even for loyal servants like Andrew Robertson. His average rating decreased from 7.43 to 6.8, which is a noticeable dip. It seems like he lost his confidence. He's been shaky in defense, conceded penalties, misplaced passes, and his body language often looks uncertain. Even with Scotland, where he is still captain, the decline is visible. Yes, he scored a late winner against Poland in the Nations League, but his overall rating also fell by half a point compared to the previous seasons. In short, Robertson has regressed across the board. Speed, productivity, the influence. Yes, he still brings leadership and experience, but Liverpool fans are starting to ask the tough question: is it time to find his successor? Andy Robertson will always be the club icon, but 24-25 season might be the year when we realize that he is no longer on elite level. At 6th spot we have Vinicius Jr. Now before you criticize this choice, let's be honest, Vinicius is not having a terrible season. In fact, most of Real Madrid's squad is underperforming right now, especially midfielders like Camavinga and Tchouaméni. But after finishing second in the Ballon d'Or ranking last year and boldly declaring "I'll do it 10 times," they are not ready. Expectations for Vini were sky high, and from that perspective, this season has been a major letdown. His influence on matches has noticeably dipped. Defenders no longer panic when he runs at them. His dribble feels forced, his finishing rushed, and his body language is worrying. It's like the composed, dominant Vini of last season has vanished, replaced by a raw version from a few years ago. So what went wrong? First, the injuries. A hamstring issue in September kept him out for nearly 6 weeks. Since then he has not looked the same. His trademark explosiveness is still there, but not quite exactly. Whether it's physical hesitation or mental fatigue, something is clearly off. Second is tactical chaos. With Kroos retiring, Madrid lost their control in the midfield. Add Mbappe's arrival, and suddenly there is an overload on the left wing. Vini, Mbappe and even Bellingham, they all prefer starting from the same zone. There is no balance, no chemistry, and a lot of ego. Unlike the old days when Benzema played the connector role, both Vini and Mbappe want to be the main guy, and that is heavily hurting the flow. Third is mentality, which is slowly fading. He hesitates in key moments, misses chances he used to bury, and disappears in big games. Even with Brazil, he struggled to stand out in Copa America qualifiers and friendlies. And then there are penalties. 3 high-profile misses this season. One against Atletico Madrid in a crucial Champions League clash, one against Valencia where Madrid went on to lose crucial points, and one for Brazil against Venezuela, a costly miss in a 1-1 draw. Add media pressure to everything what was already said. Spanish outlets are questioning his mindset. Rumors are spread that he is unhappy to Mbappe's role in the team. Some fans even wonder, has he already peaked? But let's not overreact. This does not feel like a collapse. It's more like a dip in the form during a messy tactical transition. Cole Palmer lands at number 5 of our rankings. After exploding onto the scene in season 23-24, Chelsea fans believed they had found their next superstar. However, this season, those high expectations have collided head-on with reality. Palmer's numbers have dipped. He managed just 15 goals and 9 assists in 34 Premier League appearances. Sounds not bad at all, but significantly below last year's brilliance. Even more worrying is his goal-scoring efficiency. Before his penalty against Liverpool, he had 13 games without even scoring. So what went wrong? Several key factors influenced this setback. First of all, Chelsea lost Nicolas Jackson for a key stretches for this year. Palmer thrived alongside Jackson, but without him, he often became isolated, heavily marked, and starved of quality opportunities. Experts have highlighted this drop-off too, stating that everything Palmer tries to do, he's doing alone, and he desperately needs a focal point. Chelsea's manager Enzo Maresca pointed to psychological rather than tactical issues, stating that it's mental, and he just needs his confidence back. On the pitch, Palmer's struggles are obvious. His open play goals have vanished. High-profile misses became alarmingly frequent, and Ghost Palmer sessions sadly became a familiar sight in big games. While Chelsea's inconsistent performances have not helped, it's concerning that Palmer has regressed even as the team overall improved compared to the last season. Internationally, the story is similar. After shining brightly and scoring crucial goals at Euro 2024, Palmer's role at England has significantly diminished. He has not contributed in any Nations League matches in 2025, mirroring his slump at the club level. So can Cole Palmer bounce back? At just 22? Absolutely. Chelsea's long-term contract shows their faith in him, yet rebuilding self-trust won't happen overnight. Palmer's challenging season is a stark reminder that potential does not guarantee success. He must rise again, because another season like this could reshape his entire career trajectory. Number 4 is Dusan Vlahovic. His teammate Douglas Luiz was also in contention for this spot, but since it's his first season at Juventus, he gets a pass. For now. So instead let's focus on Vlahovic. Even Juve fans who once believed he would lead their attack for years are now ready to move on. Last season he looked like he was finally able to break through, a real number 9 with power, movement and goals. But in season 24-25, that promise has collapsed. In 38 games he managed 14 goals and 5 assists. Not awful, you would say, until you realize that 13 out of those goals came before February. Since then, it's just 1 goal in last 15 Serie A matches. So what happened? First, it's tactics. Under Thiago Motta's rigid 4-2-3-1, Vlahovic was often isolated. Then came Randal Kolomuani in January, who scored 3 goals in his first 2 games. Suddenly Vlahovic was shifted wide, or on the bench entirely. For the rhythm-based striker, that's a complete nightmare. Things did not improve under new coach Igor Tudor. The system changed, but his role did not. He looked disconnected from the attack, lacking sharpness, and Tudor did not seem fully convinced, often going for a more mobile options. Then came the injury setback, the muscle problem just before the Champions League clash with Aston Villa. Not a major, but enough to break his momentum once again. And of course the confidence crash. Vlahovic has always played with emotions, sometimes too much. After a frustrating draw with Venezia, he clashed with fans. Club legends like Del Piero commented that he is in the shadows, while Di Canio called for him to show his pride and fight for the minutes. And yet, he is only 25 years old. The raw tools are there. If he finds a team that suits him better, or Juventus rebuilds a system that usually suits him and gives him real belief, he could turn things around. But right now, the season feels like a major step back, and unless something changes soon, Vlahovic risks fading into the what could have been category. Bronze spot goes to Theo Hernandez, a player who just a year ago was hailed as one of the best fullbacks in the entire world. In season 23-24 he was unstoppable, explosive down the left wing, combining raw pace and power with a constant attacking threat. He helped Milan to a top 4 finish, starred in Europe and played a key role for France. It looked like Theo was entering his prime, but going forward to season 24-25 he's been toothless. The left side, once Milan's biggest weapon, has become a liability. So what changed? Burnout is a part of the story. Theo played back-to-back seasons with no breaks, capped off with Euro 2024. France manager Didier Deschamps even said that Theo had been playing at a full throttle for way too long, and without rest he could lose his edge. Then came the coaching changes at Milan. Under Fonseca, Theo was pushed into a more conservative role, less freedom and more structure, and it killed his natural game. The once little overlapping runs were gone, and when he did push forward, he looked hesitant, caught between orders and instincts. Tension between him and coach boiled over. In a match against Lazio, Theo and Leao refused to join teammates during a cooling break, reportedly protesting Fonseca's tactics. Just a week later against Fiorentina, Theo took a penalty without being an assigned taker, and missed it, and then got sent off for dissent. That led to a 2-match suspension and eventually a spot on the bench. And then came Champions League disaster. In a do-or-die playoff against Feyenoord, Theo picked up a yellow card for diving, leaving Milan with 10 men. They crashed out, and while Sergio Conceição took the blame publicly, the criticism around Theo only intensified. Off the pitch things have not been quite either. Transfer rumors have swirled all season, with PSG and Manchester City both showing interest. His future at Milan now looks uncertain. Whether it's his mindset, his role at Milan, or even a fresh start elsewhere, Theo still has tools to return to the very top. But the main question is, if he will use them. Silver goes to Kyle Walker, and what a dramatic shift we have witnessed this season. Walker's collapse is genuinely difficult to watch. Last year, Walker was Guardiola's defensive ace, confidently handling some of the most dangerous attackers on the planet. Fans vividly remember his standout battles against world-class wingers like Mbappe and Vinicius Jr., constantly neutralizing threats with unmatched pace and strength. But now Walker looks barely recognizable, as though age caught up overnight, stripping away his speed and sharpness. The cracks started appearing early. City's aggressive high line ruthlessly exposed Walker's loss of pace and weakened positional awareness. The defender, previously a symbol of consistency, swiftly became a point of vulnerability. The numbers clearly illustrate Walker's alarming downturn. He featured in just 15 Premier League matches, starting only 9, and playing fewer than 1000 minutes. His defensive stats suffered drastically, allowing more dribbles past him per game than at any point of his career. Once a dynamic force, Walker had become a shadow on the pitch, invisible, ineffective, and uninspiring. Injuries compounded Walker's troubles. A knee injury in October provided Guardiola justification to bench him, but it quickly became apparent his struggles extend beyond physical issues. Pundits, notably Roy Keane, bluntly addressed Walker's decline, stating that mentally he looks checked out, and physically he looks like he lost his edge. Behind closed doors, Guardiola's trust in Walker visibly crumbled. Pep openly expressed dissatisfaction, revealing Walker's desire to explore more options. His loan move to AC Milan in January underlined Guardiola's firm belief: if you are not mentally committed, you are not playing. Even the fresh start at Milan fails to reignite Walker's form, averaging just 6.9 rating per game. His performances remained underwhelming despite his evident leadership qualities. Players who heavily rely on physical attributes, particularly defenders known for pace, often fade rapidly as they age. And unfortunately, Walker seems to have reached this tipping point. This season likely marks the end of Kyle Walker as an elite-level defender. And finally, the most disappointing player this season is sadly Phil Foden. We could have included more Manchester City players, especially from the midfield, but the one we expected the most was Foden. After an incredible 23-24 campaign, crowned by a Premier League Player of the Season award and an impressive 11th place finish in the Ballon d'Or rankings, expectations soared to new highs. At the start of the season, especially with key players like Rodri and De Bruyne sidelined due to injuries, all eyes turned to Foden. Many believed that was a perfect moment for him to emerge as Manchester City's undisputed leader, but instead Foden's and City's overall performances dramatically dropped off. Right from the beginning, Foden looked like a shadow of himself. As of recording this video, he scored just 7 goals with only 2 assists in 25 Premier League appearances, a significant fall-off from his combined 27 goal contribution season last year. Shockingly, the league's former standout took an astonishing 12 games to score his first goal, prompting fans to mockingly track how many days and how many hours he's gone without scoring. Foden's entire gameplay has regressed. Reports from within Manchester City reveal his teammates' genuine concerns about his physical state, describing him as noticeably underweight. Clearly, these struggles extend beyond the pitch. England's manager Thomas Tuchel has openly recognized Foden's struggles, noting he is simply not finding momentum. The drop-off in his metrics is startling. His assists per match have halved, while his off-shot targets increased by 60%. Dribbling, once a trademark skill, has declined sharply. Attempts have nearly halved, and successful dribbles are now down by almost 3 times, with 14% lower success rate. Even defensively, where he wasn't particularly strong before, he's worsened, with fewer tackles, blocks and clearances. It's almost as if Foden has been replaced by an entirely average player. With this challenging season now effectively over for Manchester City, all eyes will be on Foden's next year. Was his incredible 24 campaign just a peak he will never replicate? Or can he rediscover the magic that once made him one of the football's brightest stars? Only the time will tell. So there you have it, 8 players who came into season 24-25 with sky-high expectations, and by the end of the season with more questions than answers. Some are young and still have time to bounce back, while others, they might be running out of chances. Who do you think was the biggest disappointment in season 24-25? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below, and let's get the debate going. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss our videos. Thank you for watching, see you in the next one.